The hell happened here, mother? Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. No, bro, I'm going to team. They have not updated yet. But yeah, maybe it takes time to save more characters and the skins with the cards. Fuck, I already watched how the game's made. It's fucking complicated as fuck, man. It depends on the software and just coding some shit. I don't know. I don't want to get you. I want to have. Fuck is going on here, man?
At the time, Deerfield was the northwesternmost outpost of New England, deep in the heart of the former Pawcatuck Nation. Before the settlers had arrived in Deerfield, the Pawcatuck had already been weakened by European diseases and war with the Mohawk people. When the settlers and Pawcatuck clashed over resources, the settlers usually drove the remaining Pawcatuck from the land. Well, the Pawcatuck, however, were not ready for the defeat. They allied themselves with French settlers and other
God damn it, this is horseshit, man. What?
In 1704,
Fuck,
led an
man.
offensive raid against the English settlers. The French came to the land to settlers and burned much of the town to the ground. Captured over 100 survivors and forced them to march through the brutal winter to Quebec. March months. Among the captured survivors was Eunice Mather Williams, her husband, Minister John Williams, and 5 of their 7 children. A daughter and 6.5-year-old son were both killed during the raid, but John and Eunice were determined to be strong with their other children and fellow captives. Williams had quoted scripture that the group of prayer and the turns carrying their guns. Eunice fell during the crossing. Despite having survived her plunge, the Pawcatuck warriors decided that Eunice's exposure to the icy water had weakened her to continue the march.
Quit following me. Unsightly insects. Stabilize. Order guide you. Lament. Here. Worthless. Here. Here. Crumble.
Think you can get away?
No fault, guys.
Yahoo!
Behold. Upon the gale.
Time for takeoff.
The wind rises.
Ouch. Ow, what the fuck?
Bow your head.
It hurts.
Here we go. Yeah.
Solidify.
Okay, fuck me, man.
Yeah, I don't think this is a topic of conversation I want to pursue. Gary grunted softly. That's what I said. It's kind of gross. There was a pause. When Carrie spoke again, her voice caught in her throat. And then Kim said, well then, I guess you're lucky.
This had better be important.
Don't worry about anyone doing that. My cheeks burned with embarrassment. I didn't know what to say. I never imagined Kim would share her sexual insecurities. In part because I never thought of her in sexual terms. On some levels, I didn't think I'd ever fully processed that Nita Carey was a girl, like Elena or Christy.
God damn it, no! Okay. Yeah, I fucked myself here.
Because I found her unattractive, my mind had neutered her and had significantly reduced her as Carrie started to cry.
Squall and fury.
She let out a few hushed sobs on my shoulder as I patted her on the back, and at some point she stopped crying.
Oh shit.
Dawn, break forth! Brace yourself. This is gonna hurt.
Fucking worm here, man. Motherfucking worm.
Dawn, break forth!
Ready, steady, go!
Felt like shit. It set out to make Carrie feel better about herself, and it done nothing of the kind. I never thought of myself as the sort of guy who would judge a girl based on her looks, but apparently I was. Elena didn't return to school for a whole week after our last conversation. She told everyone who asked if she had before, but later confessed to me that she couldn't take being surrounded by people. Too noisy, too overwhelming, too many eyes staring at her. She needed to be alone. I didn't see her at lunch that day. Or ever again. The anxiety she felt my people was at its worst when she was pregnant. So her parents arranged for her to meet in her guidance counselor's office. When I found out, I knew that it was good for Elena. But I couldn't help but feel like my days would be a little clearer without being able to see her across the cafeteria. Well, hair. That smirk never returned. That was to say
Where is it?
nothing.
Oh, there it is! Up there, man. Oh god.
I finally caught up with her on Friday morning. She was at
I
the
hate
locker.
this.
To cut down the amount of time she had to spend jammed between each of her classmates, Elena had taken to cutting everything
Go, Barbara, go!
from lunch into her life. She looked like a freshman. Hey, Elena. She didn't look up. Oh, hi. I dropped down next to where she was crouching
Upon the gale.
on the lower she was nervous or excited, she took
Follow
a
me.
deep breaths and she turned towards me.
Behold! You dare to gaze upon me?
Ship? Is he a bit? I've never got glass of wine. Absolutely.
Whoa! Never seen that shit before.
The wind rises. Quit following me.
Yeah.
Glass of clutch and rarely saw him in the halls. But I had two classes and he had lunch the same period as Fletch. So I had him pass along.
Take it and have fun.
When sixth period let out, I made my way over to the parking lot where
Behold!
next to her blue 97 Beetle. We got in and blasted the boat. Unlike Fletch's ancient Civic, Galena's Beetle actually warmed up pretty quick. Everything but the silence was comfortable. You,
The hell, man? That's fast.
Glenn looked at me out of the corner of her eyes.
Fuck is that?
They were so blue. She shook
Unnecessary.
on driving. We rode in silence till we pulled up in front of an old, good-sized colonial house. Is this okay? Yeah, sure. I just... I don't want to talk about it in public.
Too slow.
Arena looked really at the garage over there. It was like... She thought bringing me over to her house was really putting me out. Getting out of the car, I noticed the garage was otherwise empty. We were alone. Abby and AG both were favorite to be commented. Just being outside of his house felt so intimidating. Identity is everything to a teenager, and to bring someone else into your home exposed a part of you that was beyond everything. It was laying bare the environment. When I first entered Fletch's house, his discomfort was evident. His house isn't a place that you pass through to get to his room. For Scary Carrie, her house was a source of shame. Mrs. Peterson's small home was a constant reminder to Carrie, not just of her parents' failed marriage, but of her mother's lack of education. They were both stuck there. The house that smelled like deli meats, the water that feta cheese is packed in. The smell that started when Mrs. Peterson's work clothes, but now infused into everything we owned. I entered Lena's house with the same reverence I would a church. It had a feeling to it, which in the mood to sip hot chocolate and watch snow fall. There were candles and tea lights on the tables, holiday-themed knickknacks on the walls. The pine-scented Christmas trees filled the air. As I collapsed onto the overstuffed couch, it occurred to me that for the first time all day, I felt relaxed. After she returned, Alina led me downstairs into the game room, the finished basement dominated by a full-size... She offered me a soda in the mini fridge behind the wet bar, and then we sat down in a love seat in front of a big-screen TV. Alina stared at me while I spoke.
Squall and fury.
I stared back.
Jack!
Somewhere else. I recounted the story Fletcher told me, as faithfully as I could, all the while I was very conscious of where her legs were in relation to mine. How as if they had gravity. She seemed fine the whole time that I talked, but the moment I was done, she began to gasp for air, like she'd been holding her breath. Then the sobbing started. I was quick to close the gap between us. I
Conquering
for several
demons
minutes,
is what I do.
while her slender frame shook and quivered.
Too slow.
Trying to pipe began bouncing up and down the ball of her foot. I thought you were Mr. Ghost Hunter. I scoffed. The corner of her mouth twitched as if she were about to smile. For a fleeting second, I felt connected to her. To the old Lena. I didn't run around telling everyone that I met why I cared so much about ghost stories. I didn't wear anything that personal on my sleeve, but I told Lena. She listened and nodded. Understood. Can I ask you something? She nodded. Why does it matter to you if the wearer's clock is reading? I need them to be wrong about me. The people who stare at me in the halls blame me like Fletch and John Murphy. Which is just hurting. He doesn't blame you. Oh, really? Yeah, he does. Everyone does. All they get are these little snippets of how much Rob loved me. And I've heard them talk about it. They say that I thought that I was better than him because I live in a big house. Or because he wasn't a duck. Or because he was nerdy. He loved me and I was a bitch for rejecting him. Selena pulled her legs up to her chest and hugged her knees. I remember being struck by how much she was like a money girl. It seemed strange at the time, but in hindsight, at scarcely 17, or practically wasn't. She had realizing for the first time that her classmates felt like this school would
Follow me.
She was as she stared.
Another 10 minutes. Wait.
It's not your fault. Her hair smelled like vanilla. Elena, look at me. She looked so full of uncertainty. Scared. I put my other hand on her wrist. I'm gonna go down there. The cabin. She grabbed me by the shoulder and held me like I might fall. It's okay. I can't help smiling at her concern. I won't go in. I'm just gonna listen to the bells. She studied my face. We were only inches apart. My heart was racing. Besides, I said as I leaned in, I want to. And I kissed her. Her lips were
Like John Murphy.
Doubts raced through me. Was she surprised? Was this a rejection? Had I crossed the line? I felt like Scary Carrie must have back in Greenfield. But Elena didn't withdraw. Maybe it had nothing to do with me. Maybe it was just a survivor's guilt. And after a long couple of seconds, Elena kissed me back. My brain went fuzzy. I almost had to stop.
New
Sibidis. It's tough to kiss with a grin.
Kind of sad.
Elena,
He come back for the whole,
rest of
from
my
the
fingers
portal,
through her wild hair.
the fog.
Elena, who ran track,
Well,
I could
quick
feel my legs
yeah.
pressing against her. Elena, who smelled like vanilla and smirked when she used to
got this.
smile. I tried to press my leg between hers, but she kept her legs closed, and that was fine. I was happy just to be kissing her. We spent the next few minutes on the love seat. It wasn't the sort of first kiss that you would imagine. I was nervous. And she was still. At the time, I remember thinking that it was more intimate and passionate, but that made sense to me. But she wasn't in a real good place. Being with her was going to be like building a house of cards. Take a slow hand. The slightest misstep could bring her crumbling down. She wanted to drive me home before her parents returned from work. As we were getting our coats on, I said, "Hey, let's see a movie." She didn't answer immediately. I thought for a second that she hadn't heard me. I can't. I kissed her and asked again, but it didn't help. If someone sees us. I wanted people to see us. I didn't care what people thought about her. I didn't even give a rat's ass what Fletch thought about her. Please don't tell him. Won't tell anybody. I can't handle how they'll look at me. She broke down. I held her.
Ah, fuck. My hair.
As I lay in bed that night, I found myself fantasizing about Elena. It wasn't sexual. Hell, it wasn't even about the kiss. It was about the most mundane things. Spooning her while we watched TV. Holding her hand while we walked down the hallways at school. Having little arguments over who'd sit at whose lunch table. And that's when I resolved that I had to find the spider in the woods. Right in the middle of the fantasy, Elena apologizing for not wanting to sit with my friends and telling fantasy me that I was the most important thing in the world to her. I had to find it for Elena. Get her out from under some guilt that she held on her shoulders. And was it really so crazy to think that maybe there might be some truth to it? Even if I was skeptical of the connection to the widower's clock, couldn't Robert Edward Keenan have followed the sound of the bells? Couldn't he have discovered a spire sticking out of the ground? Maybe he even found a body. Hadn't Fletch mentioned someone had gone missing from that trailer park? If he had found her corpse, it could have certainly pushed him over the edge. The thought sent a shiver up my spine. The last couple of weeks before Christmas vacation were always filled with midterms and projects, and that year was no exception. It was the last thing in the world either of us wanted to do, but with group projects due Monday, I had to meet Scary Terry at the library. We were bullshitting while I busted my rear looking for resources for our presentation on Group Spire. I practically carried Terry through the whole first half of European history, when I told her that I had changed my mind. I wanted to visit Quabbin. Carrie was thrilled. So when do you want to go? I don't know. Sometime over break, I guess. We try to figure out everything about them. Who? The clockmaker and his wife. Only one of my Haunted New England books told the story of the widower's clock. And maybe it was because I'd intentionally been skeptical that the story was grounded in any sort of reality. But in honesty, it never occurred to me that there was anything more to know. But if there was a clockmaker, he'd had to have made clocks. And if there'd been a murder, there must be an obituary. Gary disappeared into the basement where the library kept their microfiche. With her gone, I was able to finish researching our paper in short order, and by the time I wandered downstairs, she had found out quite a bit. The clockmaker was a German immigrant named Adolf Reifler, born in 1857. He was hired somewhere between 1905 and 1907 to construct a clock
Only 5 minutes.
in a custom house tower in Boston by an architect named Robert Swain Peabody. The clock was a failure. In an effort to show off his two brothers, who were also master clockmakers, Reifler attempted to miniaturize several of the motor's components. While the clock ran, it failed to keep accurate time. The clock was referred to by many as Adolf's Folly until the mid-1930s, when Hitler's infamy outstripped Reifler's. The bride was Robert Swain Peabody's niece, Amy Lowell Putnam, born in 1897. She was just 16 when she married Reifler, who was, by that time, 51 years old. I suppose the age difference wasn't that unusual in those times, but back in 1999, when Aylin was 17, the idea of her with a man in his 50s made my skin crawl. It also made me regret Amy Lowell Putnam with more sympathy. Imagine being married off at 16.
Holy shit, I need to get that.
That's your age. Imagine 20 years of marriage to that man, waking up to find yourself in your mid-30s, still in the heat of your sexual prime with a husband in his 70s. And of course she was attracted to other men.
The wind rises.
We couldn't find an obituary for Amy Lowell Putnam, nor for Amy Putnam right there. Scary Terry took it as a sign that the Putnams, Lowells, or Peabodys, all powerful families, had covered up the scandalous manner in which Amy Lowell had died. I, on the other hand, chalked it up to the microfiche, being a bitch to work with. What we did find of interest, though, was a picture of Einfield in 1938. It depicted a large hill with most of its trees cut down, a tractor pushing aside some debris, and a lone man standing with his back to a large colonial building. The large colonial was the only one still standing. It had a little tower. We didn't tell whether or not it had a clock. The old microfiche view screens didn't exactly have great resolution. Based on its proximity to the hill, it was easy to see how the loose soil could have enveloped it, or another building much like
Corn.
it, when the floodwaters came pouring through, leaving just a spire peeking out above the earth. We only found one more reference to Adolf Hitler, an obituary published in the Boston Globe in 1941. Wish I could remember the date. It mentioned that he was wanted for questioning in regard to a disappearance, but that was all. Reifler had died in Munich. The cause of death was omitted. By 84, it was probably just old age. Reifler must have fled
Shit,
the country
man.
sometime in the 1930s, at a time when the Germany he returned to must have been very different from the Germany he
Ouch.
left. And provided somehow none of these historical details made the story of the Winter's clock so much more plausible. It was no longer a story of a man with an awful, unfaithful wife. The characters defined by nothing more than their relationship to one another. It started to become a story of two people.
What are these things?
Starved for marital
Oh, okay.
attention.
Those are minus shit.
Obsessed with proving himself out for his failure, designing the clock for Customs House Tower. Too busy and too old to see what his young wife was up to. Since her mom had the car that day, we got hungry. Mary and I had to choose between waiting for my mom to pick us up or lugging it down to the House of Pizza to grab a bite. Despite the cold, we opted for the latter. Tilting the a hot slice in front of both of us, between Carrie and I felt right again for the first time since our trip. We fell into discussing our plans for our trip. We should have it early. She said, first time Rob heard the bells, it's just after sundown. Yeah, but the later it is, less likely we are to find is some partners. Gates or fences. The roads in and out might be gated. Fences are not. Almost too big. As soon as the words left my mouth, Fletch plopped down right next to me. His friend Murph lingering behind him. Hey, I didn't see you guys come in, he said. How long have you been here? I don't know what I felt exactly. Embarrassment, shame. But even though there was nothing in Fletch's face to indicate that he'd heard me, I felt that feeling you get when your parents tell you we're not mad, we're just disappointed. I'd been so wrapped up in the fun of going on a ghost hunt and clicking with Scary Carrie again that I'd lost sight of the fact that Rob Keenan had killed himself. I'd forgotten the only reason I knew about the spire in the woods was because of his suicide note. And had actually been happy about the whole thing, while two guys who had lost a good friend, quite possibly because of the spire, were sitting right behind me.
Oh, give me those. Okay. Fuck yeah. Give me those.
You want to ride home? I can take both of you. I really didn't. For sure. Very sad. Murph had just found out that he'd been accepted for the early admission to UMass Amherst, a topic Scary Carrie found intriguing. Like many unhappy high school students, Carrie hung a lot of her hopes on the idea that her life would get better in college. She knew she didn't have the grades to get into a top-tier school. Hell, she knew that UMass Amherst was a real reach. She still had hope of getting to UMass Lowell and transfer after a year or two.
Worthless!
Murphy hadn't thought he'd be as attention about the same. I was too busy hoping against hope that after we dropped Carrie off, Fletcher announced that he wanted to hang out with Murph some more, and, as such, would have to drop me off next. That didn't happen. And soon, we were alone in the car together.
What is that
The second
place?
door closed behind Murph,
What?
Fletch dropped his mask.
Dude, there's a floating shit there. Hold on.
After what I told you, you're going to the Quabbin? Yeah. Are you fucking retarded? Fletch was a pretty big guy. Coupled with the hurt and anger that was intimidating in silence. We drove on. Listening to nothing
You're
but the
fucking
heater,
retarded?
struggling in vain to dispel the
No,
cold.
I'm not retarded, man.
After a few miles, I found myself resenting Fletch. It was me to speak to.
I'll protect us.
And why the fuck should I feel guilty for this? He was a friend, and he had my sympathy, but that didn't entitle him to treat me as garbage. Would you tell me?
Useless.
Just get driving. Huh?
Behold.
Oh shit.
The wind rises. Cry louder. Behold.
Ah. Fucking connection here, man. Fuck it.
Disappear. Worthless. Here. Worthless. Here.
Spiraling was wrong.
Swarm Fury. Too slow. Behold. Unsightly insects. The wind rises.
Oh my god, Rocket! Ah! Connection, shut the fuck up, please, you
Quit following. Behold. Lament. Worthless. Worthless.
I was thankful Thursday was our last day, but the break couldn't arrive soon enough. I saw Alina twice over the break. Once before Carrie, Fletch, and I went to Quabbin, and once after. Alina's parents had a cabin in the foot of a swampy peak in Maine, where they usually spend most of the day. That year they decided to go up on the 27th and come back down on the 30th, so that Alina would use her weekly therapy session. The day after Christmas, she came over to our house for dinner. My parents were wonderful. I had warned them about how nervous and anxious she likely was to be. I didn't say a word about the suicide notes or the spire in the woods, but I had told them that Rob had had a crush on her and that, well, Alina wasn't coping well with his temper. We couldn't have been more understanding. Ordinarily, my dad would have delighted in teasing me when I brought home for the first time. He was afraid. Instead, whenever there was a lull in conversation, he teased my younger brother, who had gotten for Christmas that year, among other things, a Furby, and insisted on playing. So let me catch you feeding that thing after midnight. My brother was too young to catch the reference, and looked at me. It's only 6:30. Well, as always, the Christmas before.
I'll do 3. I'll do 3 to 3. 3 to 3, motherfucker.
Believe me, they were on their best behavior. True DeLuca was a film advocate of the idea that a romantic movie was not the best movie to watch or the romantic with. For starters, most of them were a few very crappy movies, and the good ones ran the danger of actually holding the girl's interest. What you wanted was a movie that was pleasant and charming but light enough to make you miss a good chunk of it and left you lost and needing to rewind. The sort of movie that you stumble across while watching TV on a Sunday afternoon and finish even though it was arguably through. I threw in that list. Alina sat on the floor, but not before grabbing a couple of pillows on my bed. Her movements were stiff as she settled down on the pillow. I tried not to appear too eager as I got down behind her and draped my arm over her waist. As the movie started, I kept thinking about those fantasies I had the night after our first kiss, about how pleasant it'd be just to lie next to her and watch her.
Fucking boy.
But actually peeking aside her, my hand resting like the idea of that summer. I found other ideas even more enticing. I pulled myself closer to her.
Squalor Fury!
Her vanilla scented shampoo left wild hair. My fingers moved slowly along.
Too slow.
Perceptibly up her body. I leaned her softly.
Too slow. Know your place. The wind rises. Wretched vermin! Behold! You're dead! Upon the gale!
Let's dance.
Too slow.
How's that for normal? I hate that you're not
Squall and Fury.
Shawnee for New Year's. She put the glass on my neck. Her hands as fidgety as her It was like, then we drive into North Conway and we have dinner and watch the fireworks until my mom gets too cold and wants to head back. That's all we want. I can't even handle that. Just find something else in common.
Evil conquering! Here! Here!
I have noticed.
Useless!
Ready, steady, go!
Disappear! Here! Worthless!
I'll protect us! Oh, no! Yeah, go, Barber, go!
Go! Evil conquering! Here! Here!
Not while we were still in my driveway and came back out. Better to wait until we were down there to leave us without a ride home. We grabbed Carrie and were properly on our way shortly after 8 o'clock. For the first hour or so, the drive was surprisingly pleasant. Carrie asked Fletch questions about where he was going to college, which schools, what his safety is, and how he was going to pay for it. Fletch answered all of her questions and was even joking around a bit, but as we got deeper into Massachusetts, he felt silent all the time. We reached Worcester. It didn't take a mind reader to know that he was thinking about Rob. It was impossible not to. We were retracing the steps of a boy who had killed himself.
No, boy! Listen here. Boy!
Cry louder! Behold! Ah! Ha! Ha! Ah! Ha! Ja! The wind rises. Ah! Ah! Ha! Ja! Ah! Ah!
Are you here to play with me?
You dare to gaze upon me? Squall and fury.
That's my bag, said to Carrie. At least after the talk. Fletch Ward was the led way. The crunch of the dead leaves being a beat echoed out in the forest, even though the moon cast more than enough light for us to see. I fished the flashlight out of my bag just to have something to do. It hadn't snowed yet that year, at least not at the property. But it was cold. The temperature had dropped into the high teens, and the wind ripping through the bare trees wasn't coming from them. It was no surprise we didn't see anyone as we crossed into the park. We were in the middle of nowhere. Now, if it weren't for the metal poles that served as a gate stretched across the old Ware and Infield Road, we probably could have driven in without anyone noticing. The smell of wood smoke hung faintly in the air. Somewhere miles away, people were speaking. Fletch rubbed his nose. Could have just been the cold making his nose run a little. Maybe he smelled the smoke too. Either way, it reminded me of something I'd read. Byron said that when a person burns to death, their flesh smells like pork. I think it's funny. I had a big ass smell. had 1.5 2.5 mile walk at night in late December. It was too much for just a bit of genius. I felt my feet to warm up.
Swollen Fury.
She had one hand buried deep in her coat pocket.
You even want this?
Much cast a baleful eye in our direction, even though we hadn't been particularly loud or said anything disrespectful. He looked at us as if he'd caught us dancing on Rob's grave. As far as what's was concerned, we were on hallowed ground. We pressed on in silence the telephone. Just ahead of us, we heard.
What the fuck? Okay.
Sounded vaguely like the Friday the 13th soundtrack was being carried in the wind across a great distance. What was that?
Following me.
Ice. Ice makes a noise. Yep. A little bit of ice is not pretty solid and inert, but ice expands and affects the field. Slight variations in temperature, small eddies and imperceptible currents prevent the water from freezing. Nature is turning big cracks, and ice strains against it.
Behold!
Pressing against each other. Snap, provoking sound echoing over the reservoir. We cleared the tree line, and sure enough, the water was frozen. I was surprised. Bodies of water as big as the club and don't usually freeze until mid-January or so.
Quit following me.
Guess we won't be needing a raft, I thought. That's when the bells chimed 11. My body shuddered. It felt like I was being really pressing down in the parts of me that strained and later my flesh tingled. It was as if the smooth skin of her back and my fingertips advanced slightly across now. It surrounded every inch of me. In that lingering moment, I was safe. The bells had nourished me like the feast nourishes the starving. I wanted nothing but to be exactly where I was, hearing exactly what I was hearing. Exactly what I was hearing. Then all was silence.
I forgot! I'm an idiot! I'm a fucking idiot. I'm a dumbass. I hate myself, man. I hate myself. Fuck me. Fuck me. Alright, what the fuck is wrong with me? Dude, I have to transfer. Fuck this, man. Transfer, like bosses. I'm a dumbass. Fuck me, man. I'm such a dumbass, man. I'm a fucking dumbass. For that, I'll wait for it.
I sat down beside him. The dirt beneath us was hard as a rock. The echo coming off the ice sounded like a gentle tide lapping on the shore. I looked up at the sky. So far away from the light pollution of Nashima, Boston, Lowell, I could see a myriad of stars I'd never noticed before. It's the sort of thing that makes someone feel small. But not me. I just peek behind the reality's veil and stuttered. Well, I don't know what. Just that there was more. Not there around distant stars suspended on the far side of an unfathomable great abyss.
Swollen Fury.
Us and discovered.
You're dead. Wretched vermin. The wind rises.
Let the show begin.
Swollen Fury.
Not of
I don't know which of us was the first to technically step onto the ice. I recall clearly none of his voice message. Not even Fletch. The ice was slick, and we fell hard more than once. But we were all of us New Englanders, and no stranger just shuffling traveling across an expanse of ice. The trick was to keep your weight centered above your feet. We talked in quick bursts about what the bells had felt like to us, speaking in broken analogies, unable to fully share what the bells had awoken inside of us. I only felt it in the plane once. My parents even thought they couldn't really afford it. They took me to Disney. They were already fighting then. It was bad. But on the plane going to Disney, it started to take off.
The wind rises.
It turned off. The echo was louder than when we heard it from the shore.
Behold!
In my head, when I was 7, only rich people flew any land. And my parents were funny.
Quit following me.
I felt lucky, you know?
The wind
I
rises.
his acknowledgement. What time is it? I checked my watch. But
Too
we're
slow.
fast. It must have been right on top where the ice was grinding against itself. We froze. Each of us strained our eyes and ears trying to determine if the ice was safe. We knew if the ice wasn't safe, it'd be dangerous to cross over. We knew it. But we didn't care. Maybe you should go first, I said to me. You're the lightest. Yeah.
You want to use my hat as an umbrella? Huh. The audacity to even make that request.
Carrying the flesh followed at my waist.
Swollen fury.
So as to spread our weight across the broader area. We pressed on. The conversation died. The wind blew hard across the reservoir and tore through our bodies like a knife. The sound was perfect. We had crossed nearly 3/4 of the distance of the island, then out of the spire. I never heard the ice crack. Just the sharp inhalations of breath and the scream. It never escaped her lips. Harry plunged through the ice. I turned just in time to see her go. Harry came up thrashing her. As she hit the sides of the hole, she made more and more of the ice broke away, expanding the hole to the size of a huge hole. I jumped my feet as fast as I could towards the edge, but she screamed for me to stop. No, it's not real! Cold water sucks the heat in your body, so it's due to the natural air. Every second Carrie stayed in that water increased the likelihood her arms would go numb and she wouldn't be able to pull herself out of the water even if the ice stopped breaking. Lying on my stomach and spreading out as much of my weight across the surface as I could, I dragged myself out to the water's edge. Grab on! I held onto the shoulder strap and tossed my duffel bag into the water as close to Carrie as I could. Her hands fumbled, already rendered useless by the sheet loss, but she managed to wrap her arms tight around the bulk of the bag. I pulled her up to the edge. I wasn't sure about the out of the water, but my legs cracked and she fell back.
Quit following me.
My hands grabbed my ankles and pulled me away from her.
fury.
Gary followed my instructions. She wasn't confused, but she wasn't talking either. By the time we reached the access road, her lips had turned pale blue, and the water in her hair had frozen. At the fourth of Oldware Enfield Road, I insisted that we trade jackets and give her my hat and gloves. one of which was wet from pulling her out of the water, but I figured it was better than nothing. Carrie fumbled and struggled to get out of her jacket. He had to stop her so I could help her with her zipper. She fought me as I tried to get my hat over her, and you understand. I slurred speech from pain.
Claro.
Jerry was in trouble. If I had a cell phone back then, I'd have been called an ambulance. But I didn't give up her cell phone until 2006.
The wind rises.
Fletch saw us approaching the gate, leaving the engine running, ran out to meet us.
Follow me.
Headed to a hospital. Fletch and I were meeting us. I can carry on. You know anything around here? I don't know where the hospital is. You don't know where the hospital is? I screamed as we got into the car. Why the fuck would I know where the nearest hospital is in western Massachusetts? Fletch put the car in drive and started heading towards Amherst. Figuring there had to be a hospital there, we'd see signs for it on Route 9. If we'd gone back the other way towards Nashua, we'd have been at a hospital in 11 minutes. Unfortunately, the way we chose, the nearest hospital was in Northampton. Over an hour away. Even with the heat on full blast, the car was freezing. Practically, as soon as the doors closed and somebody displayed any signs of hypothermia, you get them out of their wet clothes, you strip them down, and you get a sleeping bag with them. It's called passive rewarming. And Carrie clearly needed it.
Quit following me.
The emergency brake in the back seat with a half-naked, scary Carrie. She didn't fight me or complain about being
Squall and fury. Search for it.
She wedged herself down on the floor, mostly behind the passenger seat.
Okay.
I would have never imagined could accommodate me, let alone both of us. Hey, you got a blanket or anything? I said, looking around the mess and clutter that Carrie sat on top of. No, hang on. Fletch wrestled himself out of his jacket while he drove. It occurred to me that I could use the uninflated wrap as a blanket. When I looked for my duffel bag, I realized I had dropped it somewhere between the reservoir and the car. Fletch threw the jacket back at me. Didn't have to do. I stripped down to my underwear. Scary Carrie was completely unrecognizable. half of it. Dad, I have to tell you something. They didn't yell. And they didn't scream. The days of my parents trusting my judgment were over. I had stayed out all night without permission, driven deep into another state, and gone out onto unfamiliar, recently frozen ice in the middle of the night. That was stupid. That was so stupid. My father got up from the table and headed for the phone. He'd never been good at sitting still when he was agitated. Why were you even in Amherst? I'm like that. We wanted to visit Sam. My mom moved. I'd never been a particularly good liar, but Fletch and I had agreed to leave Rob's suicide note in the spire in the woods out of our story. Fletch was convinced that if his dad caught even the faintest whiff that his son believed in ghost stories, he'd be stuck on meds as fast as the nearest psychologist to write the prescription. I was scared straight at me. He couldn't hold her gaze and pretended to be interested in the French toast she was eating and flying. That could have been. Do you understand? That could have been you that fell in the ice, and with no one else around. My nose was too choked up to finish her thought. I wanted to comfort her, but I didn't want her to look. Yes, he was
Follow
there
me.
to carry. I didn't accept the ball under his chin and asked, "What's Carrie's last name?" But my dad was concerned.
Wait, is it Kagenori?
He was also motivated by self-interest.
No, it's not Kagenori. Fuck.
I could hear in his voice that he had spent the first 10 years of his career working in litigation at the law firm of Rose and Craig.
There's no way.
Of CYA. Covering your
Kagenori!
It didn't matter how slim the chances were that Mrs. Peterson would attempt to hold our family or the Fletcher.
It's Kagenori here.
That risk was unacceptable.
Kagenori!
The wind rises.
Once he got to Mrs. Peterson on the phone.
Da-na-na-na.
Around the house, driving Carrie to school. He was feeling around, trying to get a sense of whether or not Mrs. Peterson blamed us for what happened to her daughter. Maybe dealing with the insurance company. Hell, I don't know. If you need help with medical bills,
Oh my fucking fart here, Jesus Christ.
just say the word. He also wanted to dangle that carrot. He knew Mrs. Peterson wouldn't be able to cover Carrie's emergency medical care out of pocket.
Is it Kagenori?
Conferred with his amazing health insurance. Mrs. Peterson.
Da-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na. Da-da-da-da. Da-na-na-na.
Life isn't protecting your kids what their fathers do. Don't they protect their children even
Is it Kagenori?
particularly want to be protected?
It's Kagenori.
Had Mrs. Peterson had a vengeful bone in her body?
Da-na-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na. I'll rematch Steel. I'll rematch that match.
I had involved her. I brought her along, and now she was the one lying in a hospital bed with her mother crying.
Too slow.
Behold. The dignity to initiate and control our own actions. Impute us with the ability to hold our own
Quit
counsel.
following me.
So that we may
It's Kagenori? Yeah, it's Kagenori.
our choices matter.
Da-na-na-na.
I don't think that everything's part of a plan.
Da-na-na-na.
And the people that did,
Dun,
we
dun,
saw God's hand in every mundane
dun,
earthly
dun,
Too slow.
dun,
Jesus to their
dun,
ability to
dun,
be
dun,
curveball,
dun,
to
dun,
the
dun,
name of the Lord to secure a date with Saturday night broken crazy.
It's Kagenori.
Predestination. How do we have free will?
Fuck.
Swarm period. Bow your head.
Kagenori.
Ready, steady, go!
The wind rises.
It's Kagenori.
I whispered Hail Marys to myself until I was finally overtaken by a close myself to get out of bed and reach for the
Behold!
Sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Too slow.
Ghost.
Squall and Fury. Too slow.
This is Kaganori? The hell? The fuck did you say, boy? Boy!
The wind rises. Quit following me. Too slow. Unsightly insects.
I'll protect us. Yeah.
Too slow. Quit following me. Behold!
Holy shit, this is fucking cold here, Jesus Christ. That...
Squall and Fury. Upon the gale. Behold!
I could tell from the look his dad was giving her along the way that Peterson was not their favorite person. Maybe she'd been a pain in the ass the day before, but I didn't feel like that was it. Not exactly.
Squall and Fury.
The nurses were giving Mrs. Peterson the same looks the kids at school gave her daughter. The movies and
Too slow.
frequently comment on how peaceful color patients appear. They say it's like they're asleep. They're like that. It reminds me of when they were a baby, and I used to hold them. I don't know if that was what Mrs. Peterson's impression was, but it certainly wasn't mine. Ordinarily, Carrie wore a lot of concealer to cover up her acne.
Behold!
Stuff like plugging the eyes and having saline in and out of her stomach. Most of it had disappeared. She had a tube running into the house. I'm not sure what.
Worthless! Squall and Fury. You dare to gaze upon me?
The sun's shine glow.
Everyday moments of her life. Mrs. Peterson was not a gifted storyteller. In her mind, nothing was too trivial. From the time that she caught Harry washing the dishes in cold water,
Behold! Upon the gale.
to the time they went to Applebee's for her birthday and forgot to tell the server.
Too slow.
I wondered why they didn't get the egg. But let her story lag.
Sounds good to me.
Let's dance. Yeah. Oh.
She could have touched me to her daughter's bedside, forcing my hands to replace her while I carried on.
The wind rises.
We're like you, but... I didn't know if Carrie had told her mother that we were dating, or if she had just gotten the wrong idea about us, but either way, I couldn't reflect her, not fair. I had had enough trouble with her.
How amusing.
Alone over you. But ever since the night she derived from her daughter having a romantic life, it's more than I can bear. There's a special place
Follow
now
me.
for people who humiliate children and their parents.
Too slow.
I was very aware.
That's far enough. Behold.
Can't run from death.
I wish we could talk. I'd do anything to make it better. Lost in the little scene that I had created for myself, I leaned down and I
Quit
kissed
following
Carrie's
me.
waxy forehead. Mrs. Peterson put her arm around
Too
me
slow.
and squeezed. I looked at the tears. And I missed my brain. Well, I see apartments now. Carrie probably just wanted the same face with her mother. Maybe make her proud. But I think her child was happy for a change, but eventually.
It's Kagenori.
It'd be nice if I was, but I wasn't. I also resented being blindsided. If Carrie asked my permission and said, look, this is embarrassing, especially after Greenfield, but I need your help making my mom happy. Is it okay if I tell her you're my boyfriend? I might have said yes. But she hadn't. The whole charade made me feel gross. Ellen's family returned from spawning the following morning. I would have liked to have been outside their house waiting for her when they arrived, but I was still a month away from getting my driver's license. And
Oh my god, man.
advance my social life.
What the fuck?
I left a message on the
It's
counter
fire? It's fire? This bullshit here.
at 1 o'clock.
Ugh.
I called again at noon and 1, but hung up both times before the machine began recording. It was a strange poker game you play when you're in love for the first time. You feel like you'll die if you don't speak to the object of your affection as soon as possible. But you know how crazy you'd seem if you filled up your answer machine with increasingly redundant messages. That afternoon felt like they had Turnip. She called me back shortly after 5, but even though I was already sitting directly in front of the phone, I let her ring twice so she wouldn't know. I had been sitting directly next to the phone. I missed you. Thanks. She sounded tired. Maybe she hadn't gotten that much sleep before driving home, or maybe she was training from therapy. Either way, that was the reaction I was hoping for. I wasn't sure what I wanted to tell her about my trip to the pub. Rather, I wasn't sure how to tell her. The whole idea of going was to alleviate her guilt. Having heard the bells, I know the story was at least partially true. It was more to the fire in the woods than the side effects of an antidepressant. But I also didn't take the news of Carrie very well. For that matter, I wasn't taking it all that great either. How's Maine? Sure. I can convince my parents to drive us back up. Not tonight, but tomorrow. Your dad's sick of driving. I wanted to tell her everything, but it had to be face to face. If she took it hard, I couldn't comfort her from halfway across town. Not properly. There was a long silence as I weighed my options. But she broke the silence.
Is it per month, actually? Yeah, it's per month for new players. Fuck.
You finally noticed. Today, after my parents go to sleep. There was another silence.
What?
Why? It's, well, it's not really meant never hearing their bells again.
Wait, I didn't check. I didn't change it. I didn't change my shit.
Interrupting my thoughts as Alina pulled her little beetle in the driveway. I got downstairs to meet her. Despite everything that had happened in the last couple of days, I couldn't help but feel excited. She was shivering when I opened the door and didn't appear to have showered that day, but she was so beautiful. Framed as she was by the Christmas lights surrounding the door, and the porch light behind her head casting a glow around her. It was like she was separated from everything dark and good outside. She had on a jacket that she probably slept in during the winter. She stood stiffly, there up their back and arms in an effort to warm her up. I figured she was nervous about what I'd tell her, but was so disappointed that she hadn't greeted me when he acted like. I led her into the kitchen, set about making us a couple of mugs of instant hot chocolate. Alina leaned against the island behind me. That didn't last for very long. Before I'd even got one mug, she was pacing so nervously at her lower left. I handed her a mug. Alina said, No, I sat in on today. Brought her into bed with us. Still glowed brightly. And I added a couple of small pieces of kindling. Please tell me what you found. I told her. I told her everything about golden ones, what Carrie and Fletch had been like.
Stay close and you will live.
I told her about the sound of the legs. Just the sound.
There is no escape.
Spirits of what happens, and he sees things like this. He looked at me as I spoke. Everything I ever wanted was missing. For me, it was you. It was a bit embarrassing, describing to her how the bells had reminded me what it felt like to lie beneath her. But how else could I have conveyed the contentment and the presence?
Oh my god.
The blip striking the stove at the
Oh, it's gonna steal again.
she was also what Rob heard in his mouth. Quiet and his
Oh,
She was his bliss. And wrong. Even if she never did. We sat in silence for a long time, watched the wood burn. And then I told her about how we had pressed on, about what had happened to Carrie. Would blame herself for Carrie falling in the ice. Just like she had blamed herself for Rob's suicide. It was a sort of negative feedback loop a person gets into when they're depressed. Everything.
this thing is hard. It's hard, man. I can't do it.
I blamed myself. Beyond answering a few
Yeah.
questions about how Mrs. Peterson was doing, I hadn't told anyone about my return trip to the hospital. For that matter, I hadn't really told anyone how I felt. Seeing it buried her, struggling to warm her up on the floor of Fletch's car, telling Alina about it.
What the fuck happened?
I didn't let her speak until I couldn't get any more words out. And then she slid along the couch to my side, grabbed me in her arms and held me like a child. For a moment, I thought she I never judge other guys for crying. I had sat beside Fletch, who was overcome by grief. This was different. Harry hadn't died. And I was the man who I wanted more than anything.
This time, don't go easy on me.
I felt so small. She was back by me.
Bruh.
Closest to me. That wasn't my emotions. My face was cradled against her neck, my cheek brushed hers as I moved to look up at her. Her eyes looked as though she'd been crying too. I kissed her and it was like the first time, with her lips slow to respond. Slowly, I lay back on the couch until I was lying on top of her. It felt like a mouse. My hands just laid down on her arms, and over her.
People, don't lie down because you just ate. You
Okay.
will have what you call this stomach problem. Heartburn. You will be having heartburn. Don't lie down.
Where's the thing? Well, that's bad luck here.
Need to end a few enemies? Tidal wave.
Stay close and you will live. Illusion shattered!
Unnecessary sacrifice.
That was lucky.
Shouldn't let your guard down. There should be no...
Don't celebrate just yet.
fuck, man.
This ends here.
Huh?
Just like any other aspect of her cognition. She probably even knew what she wanted to say, but she just couldn't get the words out. Now, luckily, Dr. Walsh said, the brain is barely elastic, so given some
I was beaten fair and square.
compensate, and she could regain her normal speech. We all can see forward for a year. Conversation with Dr. Walsh, Carrie would attempt to interject. If it seemed like she needed something, or exactly a question, we would try to figure out what she was saying. Otherwise, Miss Pearson would just stroke her daughter's hair until she settled back down. Mostly, Carrie seemed concerned with pain with her frostbite. Just as Dr. Walsh was excusing himself, she said something shouty that really made her hair stand on end.
Who invokes the holy name of the princessin?
Sadness. Ring. She fell silent. Mrs. Peterson looked up at Dr. Walsh. What does she want? Dr. Walsh took out a small flashlight and shined it into Carrie's eyes. Her pupils were unresponsive.
The whale has become the whale.
The campaign begins.
We've been fighting about it since Thanksgiving. That's not how missiles work. Oh, you're a nuclear technician now. All the control systems in those DMs are computerized and they're not compliant.
Illusion shattered. On, reveal thyself.
Need to end a few enemies?
On, reveal thyself.
This is like twice? What? I did switch about it.
Who's next?
all the technicians.
By royal decree.
The next day we spoke on the briefly. She seemed more distant than ever, but assured me. Only because her parents were in this room.
Let the flames of redemption
And this is because of what's out of place sitting on her cold t-shirt. So the family work plan reflected that about it. This is
the time of the light coming.
Before leaving, Mrs. Peterson did accept the name of a speech therapist my dad had tracked down to one of the partners at his firm.
The fuck?
Agreed to let us help him pay for it. I knew he had ulterior motives, but I got the impression from the look in my dad's eyes that he did really want to help. My dad's a bit of a shark, and I think that may have been the first time I ever heard something heavy.
The hour of the Ertolani is here.
As you wish, my knight. The fate of this world is yours.
One you seek in vain to divert the course of destiny.
Harry, aside from Kim Rary and
It's fire.
Hey, all right there? Long goodbye. Shaking my head was all I could do without crying. I squeezed my shoulders in a half hug and gave me some space by trying to get back toward my friends. Sitting against the locker with Sarah.
Water.
Hear what they were saying, but based on my
Okay.
I strike down the foe of fate.
Okay. Woo! Okay, this is not fucking good. No! I'll use my right and burst. Okay. Okay, this is horse shit, man. Holy shit, he's a genius. Okay.
To oblivion.
He wanted me to school. They were running a little late for some reason, although I don't recall why. Fletch had slowed down the car on Spring Road and then froze, letting the car drift into the trees on the other side of the road. For my part, I was yelling. But he didn't seem to notice for a full 8 seconds. He just sat there, his foot lightly pressing the gas. His car pressed up against a grove of small pine trees, its wheels spinning on dirt and fallen needles.
What the?
Yeah, Bluetooth, man. Oh. Fuck. I forgot.
Bells are beautiful, so I thought of it, Tom. I'm actually a little jealous, but I should have heard them for Tom's time. We arrived after first period and the party started. Too late for me to have any chance of seeing Linda that day. I hadn't even seen her for a week. Every time I go to their house, it's like her father gets me. I just missed her. We stole for someone and still eat our lunches with the guy. Although in fairness, I found the general thing in the classroom intolerable, and the cafeteria even worse. Everyone else seems so happy, so carefree. I'm not sure what exactly was the children. It must have been the day Fletch went off on the road. It might have been later that week. Regardless, the time seemed to be the only thing that could focus on school. Suddenly I was holding my breath. Whenever an hour approached, I was looking down through the bells again. I remember thinking that it was funny. Back before I knew before, there was something lying beyond the realm of our senses.
Let me test that out, man. It's just an hypothesis.
Taking this commission was truly the worst decision ever. Oh, hey. I wasn't expecting to run into you here. Actually, while we're on that, what are you doing here at the tavern? Don't listen to anyone who says that drinking is an elegant pastime. It's no good for your health. So you saw all that, did you? I thought I was in the clear. I made sure to double check that nobody I knew was around. Anyway, thanks for looking out for me. Honestly, it wasn't that big of a deal. I'm used to it by now. Stress is just an inescapable part of being a working adult. Boss, I'll have a glass of wine. Same as last time. Do you want something too? I'll put it on my tab.
Wine in a glass of juice, coming right up.
I know you're already keeping a secret from me, but if you could add this one to the list as well, I'd really appreciate it. Arguing with a client is not a good look for me. If word gets out, other potential clients might be afraid to work with me. That guy, though, what was he even going on about? All those ridiculous demands of his? He's just a blabbering fool trying to act like a know-it-all. Another glass, please, boss. I'm not leaving today till someone has to carry me out.
You've got it, sir. I gotta say, though, it almost feels like you're saying that every other day now.
It really is every other day that you'd run into a client who knows nothing about construction requirements or architectural style. If this was in the past, I'd never have gone through 6 whole drafts trying to accommodate the client's preferences. But perhaps getting used to this just means that I've grown numb to it. I've worked on so many projects since graduation, and I would spend a lot of time altering my designs. And by the time the clients were finally satisfied, all my passion and enthusiasm would be gone. I suppose, though, that just sticking to your guns and completely disregarding other people's feedback would also not be a good thing. All of this makes for a real paradox.
Here's your drink. How are you already spouting nonsense after just one glass?
Your boss, what do you think is the meaning of art?
The meaning of art? Really, my friend, who in Sumeru understands art better than you? Anyway, I don't know about art, but I do know that I'm interested in business, and some patrons are waiting to be served. So, you'll have to excuse me for now. Just holler if you need anything.
What do you think, traveler? No worries. It was just an offhand question. It's been bothering me for a while. Even when I'm awake, the question haunts me like a bad dream. I still haven't found a good answer to it. Or maybe there was never a correct answer in the first place. Thanks for offering, but you've seen how he is. He's not going to listen to anything I say. He understands nothing about my design, and all the suggestions he made were as if he just wanted to mock me. You mean, if I managed to get him to see things my way, then this project would also gain recognition from many people? You've got a point. Let's hear him out one more time, then. Time to get going. I know where we'd be able to find the guy. There's no time to waste. The wine can wait until another time. I'll go take care of the bill. Squall and Fury.
Kaveh, what are you doing here?
I've changed my mind. I was overreacting earlier. Can we try discussing the project some more?
My apologies as well. Now that I think about it, some of my requests were indeed a bit unreasonable. If I choose you to create the design for my project, I should have a bit more faith in your vision.
Thank you for understanding. Mutual trust is the basis for good communication. Now that we've got that out of the way, I think we can have a more productive conversation. To be perfectly honest, your commission request has been the most peculiar one I've ever received. Even now, I still know nothing about the building's intended purpose. All I know is that you want to build something in the desert for public use. I am aware that overly specific requests will restrain the architect's artistic freedom. However, knowing nothing about the intended purpose of the building also means I have no idea if I'm on the right track. I've produced several draft proposals for you to choose from, and you've rejected every single one. If we don't get on the same page, it could be a decade before we can finally break ground on this project.
Yes, I've given this some thought already. I think we can go with the general direction of the latest proposal that you just showed me. It's just...
That guy again.
Just what?
Putting the building design aside, can we get some less expensive materials for the floor tiles? Yeah, I know someone in the business, and the red bricks he sells can go for pretty cheap. The timber here as well. we should be able to find some substitutes.
Please give me a moment. My head's starting to hurt again. Just please hold on for a second. So, let me get this straight. You want to reduce the cost of the project, right? But if we implement your suggestions, then I'm afraid we have to scrap the entire design. Architectural design cannot be neatly split into discrete parts. Any change to one part of the design will affect the quality of the whole thing. I decided to utilize high-end timber for this section because the weight-bearing structure requires the supporting materials to be durable and strong. Same with the tiles. Switch them out and the entire mural will have to be redesigned. More importantly, if we make such a change, both its practical functionality and aesthetic value will take a great hit. If all you need is a building with a roof that can keep people dry in the rain, you shouldn't have commissioned me. Many architects would be able to build you one of those while charging far less in commission fees.
Actually, Please tell me, are you absolutely sure that there's no room for any changes in this draft of the design?
I think the most important thing for me is to understand what you would actually like to get. If you could tell me more about your vision, I might be able to work with the design some more. You are the client, after all. You should have the final say on how the project turns out.
I want to build something unique. Something quiet and warm inside. A refuge that can block out the world outside. I want all who enter this building to be able to temporarily forget everything that's going on outside of the building and just focus on their task at hand.
That's a bit more information than last time, but it's still extremely vague. To put it another way, every rich person who wants to build a mansion for themselves would request something like this. We've gone through many proposals, and this draft is already the cheapest one. Cutting costs by substituting building materials will not only detract from the overall effect of the building, it also won't save you much more in the grand scheme of things.
Thank you for giving it so much thought. Please give me some more time to mull over the budget. I'll get back to you once I've figured out a solution. I still have a few business meetings that I must attend, so I'm afraid I'll have to leave for now. You can just leave the proposal as is. I'll get in touch once I've given it some more thought.
I also have a similar feeling. Is that really okay? I mean, what he does now is none of our business. He does seem really suspicious, though. He dresses like a rich person, but when you talk to him, he hardly sounds the part. That's actually pretty common. Not all rich people are spendthrifts. Many are just, as if not more, stingy than him. The more mora some people have, the more they love interfering with people's lives. Like constantly reminding you to pay back your debts, or hinting every other day that it's time for you to pay rent. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm not even sure this person really wants to work on this project with me. Putting his vague requests aside, he's still finding excuses to procrastinate even when we've decided on a plan. Who knows how long construction will take if he keeps delaying things like this? We should find him again and get some clearer answers. The sooner we can break ground on this, the better.
Quit following me.
Huh? Where did he go? I could have sworn he went this way. Let's keep looking. Oh, hey, look! Isn't that Badawi? It sure looks like him, but he's dressed completely different now. What is he up to?
Didn't I tell you before? I'm not looking for more workers. Plus, aren't you a bit old for physical labor? If something happens to you, I won't be able to pay for it.
Oh, you won't have to worry about that. I grew up as an eremite mercenary and worked in the desert my entire life. My body's still in great shape. I don't have many talents, but I still have my muscle. If you need someone to
So he's a
unload
con
goods,
artist, huh?
drive away sumpter beasts, I'm your man.
You used to be an eremite mercenary?
I know there are a lot of bad apples in our ranks, but most are just trying to make a living. We're not that greedy by nature, and we'll do our best when given a job.
Let me think. I'm sorry, but I still can't take you in. I don't have any open positions right now, and don't have the Mora for anything more. How about this? Why don't you try your luck somewhere else?
Okay.
He used to be a member of the Eremites? Huh. From the way he was dressed, I would have thought he was a merchant from the rainforest. Let's ask him about it. We meet again.
Huh? Why are you guys here?
That's what we wanted to ask you. Who are you? Why did you dress up like a merchant to talk to me about our project? There's no need for us to continue this project if you still want to keep hiding things from us. I don't work with individuals I can't trust.
Believe me, I didn't have any bad intentions. It's just... All right, there's no point hiding anything anymore. The building I'm trying to commission you for is not really a personal residence for me, but rather a library for children living in the desert.
A library? Funded entirely by yourself? Shouldn't this be the responsibility of the academia? I've heard that the academia will be looking to prioritize the desert with the allocation of educational resources and materials. It sent over a large shipment of regular goods just last month.
You're right, and I was aware of these happenings as well. I just figured what I want to do is a separate effort from what's already being done by the academia. The desert is too vast. Even if the academia spends a lot of effort trying to disseminate knowledge in those parts, it might still take decades, if not centuries, to reduce the educational gap that already exists between the two regions. And what's more, I don't know if the academia would ever reverse its stance in the future. All I know is that as a desert dweller, we should not wait passively for good things to happen to us. If we only did that, we'd never be able to stand up and hold our heads high. I don't have much longer left on this world, so I just want to use whatever time I have to contribute something to my homeland. I didn't want you to know that I came from the desert. I've lived in the desert my entire life, and there wasn't anyone here that I could trust. I figured I needed as much safety as I could get.
To the point that you even disguised your identity? That's certainly taking playing it safe to the next level. Hold on. Don't tell me you've also been scammed before.
When I first came to Sumeru City, I brought a lot of Mora, hoping to find an architect that I could work with. Someone agreed to take on the project, and even took a sum of Mora from me, but then disappeared without a trace. After that, I heard that there are a lot of untrustworthy people in this business. Some would run as soon as they've been paid, while others would deliberately use expensive materials and take a cut of the construction funding. I spent a while collecting information in the city, and eventually learned that you're the most famous architect in all of Sumeru. I figured that you wouldn't need to make Mora by scamming people, so I decided to reach out to you. By the way, how did you know I was scammed? I don't think I've ever mentioned that to anybody.
Just a hunch. A while ago, I accepted an offer to work on a project in the desert, and was also scammed out of a large sum of Mora. I ran into someone who was living in a pretty run-down house. I noticed a load-bearing wall on the verge of collapse and suggested that I build a new house for him. He said that he had no way to pay for it, so I loaned him some of my own mora and told him to get some stone and timber from the local vendors. Soon after that, I found out that he had gone gambling with all the money and lost everything, down to the last coin. And after that, he even borrowed mora from me twice more, using a different excuse each time. I didn't even suspect him of any wrongdoing until he hired a group of mercenaries and tried to ambush me in his own house. According to him, I looked like an easy target because I was an academia scholar who didn't have any family or friends in the desert. What kind of person would just look at someone else and think, this guy looks like an easy target?
Those kinds of things do happen every once in a while, yes. Folks like him are the exact reason why us desert dwellers' reputation have gone down the drain. I must apologize to you on their behalf.
It's all right. You were also scammed by someone from Kasharwar after all. I should apologize to you on their behalf. Ultimately, neither of our experiences had anything to do with the desert or the rainforest. People who are new to an area are always easy targets for criminals. Yeah, you'll find both good and bad people everywhere. I can't understand the logic of those who like to take advantage of others, but I have to accept their existence as a fact of life. Anyway, I digress. Let's return to the topic at hand. Did you keep rejecting my designs because you thought I was deliberately using expensive materials to take a cut as a middleman?
That's what I was afraid of initially, yes. I eventually understood that you weren't out to cheat me. But unfortunately, I still don't have nearly enough mora to pay for the design you proposed. I've done the math and know that we should be able to make it if we cut some corners. However, after our conversations, I can see that you're passionate about your design, and I'm quite fond of the proposal as well. So, I decided to try and see if I can afford your proposal as is. I've been looking for work every day, and in another month, I should be able to cobble together enough mora to meet the budget.
By cobble together, you mean you're going to spend your entire life savings on this project? But then, what will you do if something unexpected comes up, and you find yourself stuck with no emergency fund?
To be honest, I haven't really thought about that. I mean, when you've lived to be my age and something happens, you can't really call it unexpected anymore. All I want is to build this library before I leave this world, so that the children of the future would have some books to read, and the desert dwellers would be able to learn their letters and pick up some practical knowledge. A while ago, I heard that the academia had decided to recruit a number of exceptional children from the desert. Of course, this is welcomed news. But as someone who's spent their entire life in the desert, I still have a few concerns. I know the desert life, and can predict what the problems will be. Many children from the desert have had neither the interest nor the proper environment to learn. So even if the academia would take them in, once they enter the halls, they might find themselves surrounded by other children who look and act very differently from them. And as a result, they might become socially isolated.
Yes, I can imagine that. My father passed away at an early age. Even though I had a good number of friends during my years at the academia, for some time, I still sensed many critical looks in my direction. I'm sure a child coming all the way from the desert will have an even harder time. But let's bring this back to the building itself. I think you said that you want this building to be quiet and warm, with its doors serving as a solid barrier to block out the sound and fury outside, and allow one to focus on the book in their hands. Building it according to the current plan will be quite costly. Even if I don't charge you any commission fees, I don't think we'd be able to keep it under your budget. Any ideas on what we can do? A slightly different style. Give me a minute. Most architects would probably prioritize cutting costs and removing extra features in this situation. Indeed, converting the building into a simple bungalow would solve most of our problems. However, I do not think this would be the best solution. While it's true that the aesthetic value of a building is often viewed as an afterthought, neglecting it has some long-term negative consequences. It is especially undesirable in this situation, as the library will serve a high number of children, many of whom would have never been exposed to structures that may be considered elegant or beautiful. To completely give up on the more aesthetic design would mean stripping the children of an opportunity to appreciate the beauty of architecture. I share Badawi's sentiments in wanting to preserve a more complex design. However, if we can reduce the ornate aspects of the design while maintaining its fundamental elegance, which is to say we won't touch the arches and stone pillars, but make changes elsewhere. This is definitely a first. To make up for the loss of regular details, we would need to put a lot of extra effort into the layout, lines, and color.
I see. Would that really be okay?
It just increases the difficulty of the design. You should feel lucky that out of all the architects in the city, you chose to approach me. Most of the others would have given up on this project by now. As for inspiration, I think I might have something in mind, but I'd need to visit the site to make sure. Where do you want this place to be built? Tell me the exact location.
Aru Village. Although it wasn't my childhood home, I think it'll be the best site for such a building.
Okay, then we can pay a visit to Aru Village.
Is there something I can do for you? I've already caused you a lot of trouble before, and now you're revising the design again because of me. Which draft are we even on now? It's making me feel terribly guilty.
Let me think. You said you used to be an Eremite mercenary, right? In that case, you could help us clear out some monsters that are blocking the way to Aru Village. We want to keep the roads clear, and reduce the loss of materials during transport to a minimum. If everything goes well, that'll help us save some Mora.
All right, just leave it to me. If there's anything I'm good at, it's clearing out monsters.
What are you waiting for, then? Let's pack up and get ready to go.
The fuck, man?
Most materials going from Caravan Ribat to Aru Village would pass through here. There are a lot of monsters out here today. If you find it hard to keep up, just let us know.
Oh, don't worry about me. This is nothing. I'll be careful, though, and you should do the same.
Scanning.
Cry louder!
Wipe out!
Site clear.
Water jet!
I'm fine. I've spent my entire life fighting these kinds of monsters in the desert after all. They won't get the best of me. But it's one thing to fight against monsters, and another to fight against an old injury. It's something I picked up when I was young. There were many fights between mercenary brigades back then, and one day someone stabbed me in the back. I don't think much of it back then, but with age, it's caught up to me. Few mercenaries get to enjoy their later years. Failing health tends to take the joy out of reputation and wealth. And many mercenaries never even made much of the ladder to begin with.
Is there someone you know who can help to look after you?
Unfortunately, no. My wife passed away at an early age, and I don't have any children. Sometimes I'd close my eyes and realize most of my life story has already been written. I have many regrets about my past, but at the same time I also know that there were never many options for me in the first place. I joined the Eremites when I was young, and won many battles with them. My survival was more a matter of luck than actual ability. If at all possible, I want future children of the desert to have some more options in life. I don't want them to turn out like me. My apologies. The older we get, the more we tend to ramble. Seems like we've already cleared out most of the monsters. Let's hurry over to Aru Village.
I think it's really admirable of him to spend his whole life savings on people he's never met. Maybe he's doing this out of natural kindness. Kindness that hasn't been eroded away by the struggles of his life. Perhaps. To clarify, though, I don't think I'm quite the same. Some people call me an idealist. I do have some sentiments of that general persuasion, such as wanting everyone to be able to lead a happy life. But my situation is more complex than that. In the beginning, what drove me to harbor those thoughts was less idealism and more a desire to make up for a sense of guilt. When I was young, I impulsively encouraged my father to take part in the first Inter-Darshan Championship, hosted by the Academia. He set off confidently hoping to win something for me, but failed to clinch the title. What's more, he fell into depression after the competition, and requested to join an investigative research project in the desert. I never saw him again. Word has it that he got caught in quicksand. Even if other factors may have contributed to his death, the fundamental cause still circles back to me. I started doing many things in life because I wanted to make amends. Even in cases where I couldn't do something for a specific person, I still did whatever I could. I think I just wanted to make myself feel a little better. At this point, even I don't know. I've tried self-reflection, but it didn't help. I can't seem to walk away from many things that I see or hear about, even if they don't directly concern me. And I can't quite pinpoint the source of it. Maybe it's just like what those Vahumana scholars often say. It's hard for people to truly understand themselves. I could be doing things out of endless guilt, or I could be doing them out of a strong sense of empathy. It could even just be a matter of conceit. The potential motivations could number in the dozens, but the actions they result in are the same. Anyway, I suppose I don't really mind being called an idealist. They also used that term to describe my father. It seemed to carry fewer connotations back when he was around. I've known Al-Haytham for many years now, and discussed my ideology with him for nearly as long. Maybe argue is a better word for it. He told me a long time ago that no matter how strong of a swimmer you may be, you'll still get dragged under by the others who are drowning once you run out of stamina. He believes this is the fate that awaits all idealists. I still believe I should live by my ideals, and I've given him countless reasons why I think it's a good idea to do so. Perhaps my ideals are flawed, But are there really any perfect things in this world? Unfortunately, he remains unconvinced. His personality is the exact opposite of my own. If someone happens to drown next to him, he'll most likely stand on the shore and mumble something along the lines of respecting other people's fates. But as you can see, I'm not the only idealist in the world. Just as there are different seasons, there are also different people. There are many others who will continue to care about the fates of those who are not directly related to them. And when I finally run out of stamina, someone will also reach out and bring me back to shore. Someone will help me, right? Yes, I've already been helped like that before. But you've helped me plenty already. If you didn't reach out to me, I would probably be passed out on the tavern table right now instead of talking with Badawi. Either way, I'm feeling much better than when you first found me at the tavern. I can feel inspiration already welling up inside of me. Maybe this will be just the opportunity I needed to create a whole new style. All right, let's head to Aru Village.
Oh, I need to charge my phone. Low bit thing. Yeah, my phone sucks. Oh.
The wind rises.
Now that we're here, it's my partner's time to shine. Marak!
Oh, what's this?
My toolbox. I built it using an ancient mechanical core. It's not too smart, but it's super useful and can help me with a variety of tasks. I'll take Marak and find a suitable location
I'm not
for
level
the
2
building.
yet, so...
Once that is done, I'll get to work on a few designs.
Traveler?
Ah, you know each other?
Hello. I suppose you must be Kaveh from Kasharawar. I have heard of you before. My name is Sataria, and I'm currently the person in charge of promoting educational assistance programs here in the desert.
Educational assistance programs? Then you must be familiar with the local conditions here.
I can't say I'm too familiar just yet, but if you have any questions, I'll try my best to answer them.
I've been commissioned by Mr. Badawi to build a library in the desert. We've settled on the general design direction, but we are trying to finalize some details based on the conditions around the intended location.
A library? Do you intend to open it to the public for free?
That's right. I want to make sure the children will have books to read.
That's fantastic! I'm sure the children will be thrilled. Right now, we don't have access to many paper books or a quiet place to read. Truth be told, this very thing has been keeping me up at night.
Let me get straight to my questions, then. Can you estimate the number of children around here who'd be interested in reading? Besides the usual noise of village pedestrians, are there any other sources of noise in the village? Oh, and have any landslides occurred here recently? And also, where are the spots around the village that have been most affected by wind and erosion? All right, that should be everything. Badawi, let's go over the budget again. We'll keep the building structure the same, but make the place a little bigger, so it'll be able to hold more people and get better natural light. The parts of the project that cost the most will be the insulation and ventilation materials. I'm sure you understand, no one likes to read in a place that's hot and stuffy. I want to make significant changes to the arrangement of the bookshelves, tables, and chairs. I'll go over the specifics of that shortly. I have two plans in mind. Both are pretty minimalist in style, but will provide a very different ambiance from the world outside. Our final cost should be around 70% of the last figure I quoted. The whole thing should take around half a year to complete. Marak has produced a sketch for all of you to see. If everyone's okay with it, then we'll proceed with that as the formal plan. The inspiration just came to me naturally. All I did was
The
put
rift house
thoughts
is
to
so
paper.
fucking annoying. Like literally.
I must give you credit though.
Drains
If
your
it
health.
weren't for your
I
advice
don't
and
have
suggestions, I probably wouldn't have landed on this new style so
Even the
quickly.
big guy.
According to the traditions of my profession, I should probably
That's
name
why I
this
don't
style
have
after
big guy.
you. Let's call it the Traveler style. In the meantime,
Unless you
let's
have-
look forward to the day when this building is completed and can finally open its doors.
I think Barbara's actually trusted. Right? I think I already have done the what's next? Pineapple sauce. 0 hearts. Wow. 0. What a complacent here.
Squall and fury, upon the gale.
Where is it?
Quit following me. Huh, too slow. Behold! Quit following me.
We meet again.
Huh? Why are you guys here?
That's what we wanted to ask you. Who are... There's no need for us to continue this project if you still want to keep hiding things from us. I don't work with individuals I can't trust.
Believe me, I didn't have any bad intentions. All right, there's no point hiding anything anymore. The building I'm trying to commission you for is not really a personal residence for me.
A library? Funded entirely by yourself. I've heard that the academia will be looking to prioritize the desert with the allocation of educational resources and materials. It sent over a large shipment of regular goods just last month.
You're right, and I was aware of these happenings as well. The desert is too vast. Even if the academia spends a lot of effort trying to disseminate knowledge in those parts, it might still take decades, if not centuries, to... And what's more, I don't know if the academia would ever reverse its stance in the future. All I know is that as a desert dweller, we should not wait passively for good things to happen to us. I don't have much longer left on this world, so I just want to use whatever time I have to contribute something to my homeland. I didn't want you to know that I came from the desert. I've lived in the desert my entire life, and there wasn't anyone here that I could trust. I figured I needed as much safety as I could get.
To the point that you even disguised your identity? That's certainly taking playing it safe to the next level. Hold on. Don't tell me you've also been scammed before.
When I first came to Sumeru City, I brought a lot of Mora, hoping to find an architect that I could work with. Someone agreed to take on the project. After that, I heard that there are a lot of untrustworthy people in this business. I spent a while collecting information in the city, and eventually learned that you're the most famous architect in all of Sumeru. By the way, how did you know I was scammed?
Just a hunch. I ran into someone who was living in a pretty run-down house. I noticed a load-bearing wall on the verge of collapse, and he said that he had no way to pay for it, so I loaned him some of my own Mora. And after that, he even borrowed Mora from me twice more, using it. According to him, I looked like an easy target because I was an academia scholar who didn't have any family or friends in the desert.
Those kinds of things do happen every once in a while, yes.
It's all right. You were also scammed by someone from Kasharwar after all. Ultimately, neither of our experiences had anything to do with the desert or the rainforest. People who are new to an area are always easy targets for criminals. Yeah, you'll find both good and bad people everywhere. Anyway, I digress. Let's return to the topic at hand.
That's what I was afraid of initially. Yes, I've done the math and know that we should be able to make it if we cut some corners. So, I decided to try and see if I can afford your proposal as is.
By cobbled together, you mean you're going to spend your entire life savings on this project?
To be honest, I haven't really thought about that. All I want is to build this library before I leave this world, so that the children of the future would have some books to read. A while ago, I heard that the academia had decided to recruit a number of exceptional children from the desert. I know the desert life, and can predict what the problems will be. Many children from the desert have had neither the interest nor the proper environment to learn. So even if the academia would take them in, once they enter the halls, they...
Yes, I can imagine that. My father passed away at an early age. I'm sure a child coming all the way from the desert will have an even harder time. But let's bring this back to the building itself. Building it according to the current plan will be quite costly. Any ideas on what we can do? Sponsor the project? You mean convince wealthy merchants to join our cause and pool their money together to build the library? That does make sense. The library is a big project, and it's going to be hard to fund it with just a single person's Mora. What do you think? If we can find others to sponsor the project, we could potentially increase the size of the building 2- or 3-fold.
It's all fine with me, but where do you think we'll be able to find these sponsors?
Well, you're right. If I really think about it, I'm not too familiar with many big-name merchants.
My story.
Her? Hard pass. With her shrewd and greedy personality, she would never put Mora into something like this. Now there's an idea. She probably won't say no if all she'll need to do is to make some introductions instead of spending Mora. Let's go and pay her a visit.
Oh. I already have screen time. I don't know why. Requires. You got jump bars. Never mind.
Now here are some unexpected guests. What brings you to the Palace of Alcazar's Ring? When I saw Kabe, I almost thought it must be that time of month again. Sadly for me, I must wait a few more days before I can collect my shiny Mora.
Hey, can't you think of something else for a change? You are literally living in an objet d'art, and yet your mind is still fixated on nothing but Mora? What is the point of wealth, anyway? Is your happiness entirely dependent on your hoard of cold, emotionless Mora?
That's exactly right. Mora is extremely valuable, you see. If you don't keep your mind on it, your Mora may just find its way to somebody else's pockets. If you ask me, this place is still way too empty. Just give me some time and I'll fill it to the brim with lots and lots of Mora.
You're hopeless.
Oh, so you have an actual reason to visit me? Alright, let's hear it. Merchants? Why? Is there some kind of business opportunity? Oh, I see. So you're just looking for someone to help you fit the bill.
I knew you wouldn't be interested in something like this. Still, you wouldn't refuse just making some introductions for us, would you?
Sure, I can connect you with some folks. But with every service comes a fee, you know.
A fee?
Information is cursed.
You mean just for introductions?
Of course! Making introductions means using my connections and putting my reputation on the line. Why wouldn't I charge a fee for something so important? Since we've known each other for so long, though, I'll give you a huge returning customer discount. How about 500,000 more?
500,000? I guess that's okay. But why are you charging a fee before we've even secured any funding? That just doesn't seem right. Besides, by helping us out, you'd be doing a great service to the public. Can't you take your mind off your Mora even for just 1 second and focus on something far more important?
Very well. Since you're so passionate about this project, I'll help you out and waive the introduction fees. 3 of my business partners came by earlier today to discuss some things with me, and they still haven't left yet. I'll arrange a meeting for you, and just so we're clear, it'll be up to you to present your project and discuss any deals.
Thank you so much.
You can wait here. I'll bring them over to you.
Dory gave us a brief introduction about the two of you. You are Kaveh, the renowned architect, and you are the traveler. Practically all of Teyvat has heard of you by now. To be frank, I don't feel like there's an obvious business opportunity here, but since Dory took the time to introduce you, we can spend some time to have a conversation. So, let's hear your idea.
All right, here's the situation. I've been commissioned to build a library in the desert, with the intended goal of allowing the desert dwellers to have more access to reading materials.
So it's a public welfare project?
Correct.
Then the commission fees will likely be very low. You should be careful.
I'm not too concerned about how much I'll get for the commission fees, actually. I'm fine with doing it for free. I just want to get this project rolling as soon as possible. We're just a little short on funding.
So what? You can't possibly expect that we just cover the shortfall for you. Besides, what does a library in the desert have to do with us? If you want to build it yourself with your own Mora. Seems simple enough to me.
Well,
hey, there's no need to be so harsh. They are Dory's associates after all. Here, can you tell us a bit more about what we can gain from sponsoring this project? So we'd mostly be doing it for reputation and exposure? There is some value to that. It could make doing business in the desert a bit easier.
Well, just speaking for myself, I've got nothing in the desert.
I also have a concern. It feels like there's not much to profit from in the short term. But in the long term, the reputation gain also doesn't sound like it'd offset the cost of the sponsorship.
Then how about this? What if, instead of building a single library, we commit to an entire complex of buildings dedicated to culture and education?
Wouldn't that just cost more?
Yes.
I guess.
But in that case... Mr. Kaveh, please tell us what you have in mind.
I'll just give an example. If we were to build a library and a school near Aru village, then the desert dwellers would gradually begin to migrate towards the area. A whole suite of buildings will be able to host more traffic, and thus drive the economic development of the entire area. In turn, that would lead to direct business opportunities. I've been to the desert several times, Although there are still many lingering tensions between the two regions, the amount of interaction has been steadily increasing, and in the long term, the desert will only become more and more important to Sumeru.
You do have a point.
Education in the desert is indeed an industry that has not been tapped into. If we can be the first to place stakes in the area.
And you just believe anything he tells you?
Even the greenest amateurs know that urban planning will affect population flow. If you don't believe me, you can ask anyone on the street to confirm it to you.
You...
Wait, something just occurred to me. If we're going to build a library in the desert, Aru Village would obviously be the best place for it. But it seems we're not the only ones with our eyes on the village. I heard a rumor a while back saying a lot of land and buildings in Aru Village have already been secretly purchased by a big-name merchant.
What?
Who is that?
What?
In other words, if we try to join the fray now, there won't be much left for us. If we want to build a suite of buildings focused on education and culture, Aru Village is the prime location. If we want to build it anywhere else, we'll have to deal with a far larger list of problems. It's not impossible, I suppose, but...
Then there's no hurry. We can wait for Aru Village to develop more first and get into the market for expansion to other areas.
But if you were to do that...
Is there nothing else to discuss? Great timing! I've pretty much heard all I want to hear. If there are no other urgent matters, I'll be on my way.
I'll be off as well. If you have any new ideas, please feel free to reach out.
It seems like the others are not interested in funding this, so no point in me doing this on my own. Let's revisit this another time.
Hey, guys, wait! Well, what can I say? I guess it went somewhat as expected. They are Dory's friends, after all. As soon as they heard that there's not much more in this for them, they lost all interest. Yeah, it's just another day doing business with people. But I can never get used to that. Those people never think of anyone other than themselves. Looks like we'll have to figure out some other way to get the funding. Let's go.
How did the meeting go? Want to talk about it? Oh, where did all that passion go from earlier, I take it you weren't able to find a sponsor for your project?
Please don't tell me that you're here to mock us.
What kind of person do you take me for? Would the kind and generous Lord Sakuma Bay really do such a thing? I will say, though, I more or less expected this outcome even before I introduced them to you. You can try to talk up the project all you want, but the facts will remain the same. This project is high investment with slow returns. No sane person would put their money into this.
But this isn't just a business project, right? Also, if you already knew no one would want to partner with us, why did you still try to charge me 500,000 mora? You scammer!
You might want to remember who your creditor is before you start talking like that, Kabe.
I'll pay back every last coin that I still owe you, but that's a completely different matter.
Alright, since you're so devastated about this, I'll set you up for dinner with another big-name merchant. In fact, I'll be inviting the most famous merchant in all of Sumeru, so I'll be counting on your performance.
What? Really? I would like to sincerely apologize for my attitude just now. So, where would we be meeting this merchant?
Follow me. Oh, I suppose both of you can come.
you doing? Alright, sword.
This is the place.
You said you're going to introduce us to the most famous merchant in Sumeru. Well, where are they?
You still don't get it, huh? The most famous merchant in Sumeru.
Huh? So you met yourself all along? Then why did you bring us here?
Well, I've given it some thought, and that complex of education and culture buildings that you mentioned does hold some promise. It'll be a pretty big war, I think, and I'll have to fund it all on my own. But that's not really a problem for me.
What? Seriously? Where's this generosity coming from so suddenly? Are you trying to scam me again?
The reasons are not important. What's important is that I'm willing to help you. However, you know just as well as me that once this project actually breaks ground, it'll start sucking Mora from my pockets like crazy. So, to cut costs...
I get it. I won't charge any commission fees, and I'll take responsibility for the entire project.
Splendid! Then let's sign the contract right away.
This way, the children of the desert will have some books to read. Their lives should improve a bit after this. Of course, there are a few things better than using my knowledge to help other people change their fates. I must thank you as well, Dory. I used to say you only cared about Mora, which might have been some prejudice on my part. Sorry for that. I will also try to pay back my debts as soon as possible. Now, let's have a quick discussion. Where would you want the library to be built? That will be the most important building.
There's no rush. I'll provide you with a copy of the deed when we get back. You can just use the address on the document to find the lot.
Huh? The deed? So hold on a sec. The person who has been buying up everything around Aru Village was you all along?
Oh my, did I not tell you about that? Yep, yours truly has been buying up all the land. I must thank you for bringing your ideas to me. Before our conversation, I had no idea what to build on all those lots. So, from my perspective, this has been a great turn of events. I didn't put much in and easily got a lot in return.
But what about my commission fees?
Huh? Didn't you waive those yourself? I was just gonna say that to cut costs. We mustn't procrastinate and should start construction as soon as possible. But before I could finish my sentence, you volunteered to waive your commission fees and even promised to take responsibility for the whole project from start to finish. I'm so touched, really.
It's obvious that you used every trick in the book to deceive me. You deliberately paused for a long time while talking about the project and kept glancing at me with that menacing look in your eyes.
Huh? You really think so? Well, the contract's already been signed, so there's no point in dwelling on the details. You know what? I'll pay for tonight's dinner.
Fine. I'll drop the argument on the commission fees. But since you said you're paying for dinner, I'm going to order the best dishes and booze this place has to offer, and lots of it. Tonight, we're feasting until I've recouped my full commission fees.
I don't have one. Oh shit! There's separate ways. What the fuck? I think I'm finished now. Dude, it's got design here.
fury. Commission was truly the worst decision ever. Oh, hey. I wasn't expecting to run into you. Actually, while we're on that, what are you doing here at the tavern? Don't listen to anyone who says that drinking is an elegant pastime. So you saw all that, did you? Anyway, thanks for looking out for me. Stress is just an inescapable part of being a working adult. Boss, I'll have a glass of wine. Same as... Do you want something too? I'll put it on my tab.
Wine and a glass of juice?
I know you're already keeping a secret from me. That guy, though... Another glass, please, boss.
You got it, sir.
It really is every other day that you'd run into a client who knows nothing about construction requirements or architect. But perhaps getting used to this just means that I've grown numb to it. I would spend a lot of time altering my designs. I suppose, though, that just sticking to your guns and completely disregarding other people's feedback would also not be a good thing. All of this makes for a real paradox.
Here's your drink. How are you already spouting nonsense after...
Boss?
The meaning of art? Read. Anyway, I don't know about art, but I do...
What do you think, traveler? Yes, art shouldn't be self-indulgent entertainment saved for the elite. Let's say that I built a house for someone. If they don't like how it looks, then no matter how brilliant it may appear to me, they won't be happy with it. The problem is that it can be very difficult to get validated by others. I could compromise my personal standards to accommodate my clients, but often that just means creating a final product that I would struggle to look at. Sounds great to me. A different career. I see. That's not a bad idea. I think I've heard a saying somewhere before. 80% of a working adult's woes are due to not having enough mora in the bank. It's just a saying, of course, but even I will admit that my life would be a lot better if I could make additional mora. And if I want to make mora, I should finish that ridiculous commission. But I really can't find it in me to go back and talk to him right now. Hold on. I just remembered that I used to have a senior classmate by the name of Alkami. If memory serves me right, he's no longer taking private commissions, but he's still doing pretty well for himself. Maybe I'll be able to get some advice from him. Yeah, I should get on this right away. No more wine for me today. I'll grab the bill and be on my way.
I'm gonna go play cards. What kind of cards do I have? I think I have shell cards, but shell cards are so fucked. Okay, shell cards, so fucked, yeah. But is it Pyro? No, I have Pyro. I don't know Pyro! Fuck.
That is just the way I remember it. So many people.
Let me go for my main dish. Fine. Nah, I'll do it later.
Stay close and you will live.
God damn it. Okay, that's enough.
There is no escape.
Oh fuck no. Shit! 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 No! I didn't.
Delve into
Nah.
destiny.
Oh my god, bro.
Torn to oblivion.
Shadows of fate.
Oh shit, no. Like banana fish, but fucker.
Let the flames of redemption rise!
Fate is upon you.
No shall turn to dust. The power of flame compels.
That was dumb,
The
right?
stars are
Oh shit, no. Shit in the ground.
Tidal wave.
Out of the frying pan, into the fire!
Brace yourself. This is gonna hurt.
Water! Call an ambulance! Help!
Oh shit!
How? I had only just... Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck? Okay. Peaceful motherfucking day here. I don't know what that is.
At least it's over now. I was flagging towards the end there.
Do I like a piece of marketing? No, I don't. I don't like a piece of marketing. It's garbage.
Stay
Oh, that
close
thing.
and you will live.
Fuck that. Oh, they changed it.
Illusion shattered.
From the ashes to this world anew.
Go on.
Time for my second coming!
I don't have any force. What a pain. What a fucking pain here. Okay.
Keep your eyes wide open. Who's next?
Fucking whale.
You're mine.
No, it might be difficult.
You can run, but you can't hide.
from the ashes to this world anew.
Oh, I got a new achievement. Got a new achievement here. Okay. Okay. I don't know. How many achievements do I have? Oh, 64. Alright. Good dude. Just the passive is still not that much. Ah. Where?
The wind rises.
Too slow.
Another test subject.
Swan Fury.
Where is it though? Where? Where is it though? Something. Dude, it's not here. It's gone. Okay, there it is.
The wind rises.
Hey, it's you! It's been a while. What have you been up to recently?
Yeah, it's been a long time, Alkami. Things haven't changed much for me. I'm still taking private commissions for all kinds of projects.
I heard that you were the genius behind the Palace of Alcazazare. I bet you're all set for Mora after a project of that size.
Well, it's hard to make a profit from every project, you know?
Hard to make a profit? You've got to be joking. I've never met an architect who didn't make a profit from a project. Unless the client fled before they paid the commission fee in full. But that doesn't sound right either. Doesn't Dory have a pretty decent reputation in our local business circles? I don't think she's ever been involved in any kind of big scandal.
Well, about that. I mean, it was complicated.
I understand. Either way, doing one project after another sure gets exhausting over the years, huh? I've been there, so I can feel your pain. I obviously never had your reputation to live up to. That must have been stressful. But I'm sure we faced all the same problems.
Trying to keep your client in a good mood while you're trying to stop them from micromanaging things they don't know the first thing about. I don't miss it. Thankfully, that's all behind me now. Not exactly. My work is still closely related to architecture. Judging from the look on your face, you're still strapped for more. That's quite unfortunate. You're the most artistically gifted graduate the Kasharawar Darshan has seen in decades. But it looks like you still have a lot to learn in terms of making Mora. With that said, us Kasharawar grads should still look out for each other. What if I told you about an idea that'll absolve you of all your Mora troubles going forward?
Are you serious? But something like that has got to be some kind of top-level business secret. Are you sure you can just share something like that with me? Besides, I don't want to just take something like that without offering anything in return. I still have a little Mora. Or is there something that I can help you with?
Oh, you're too kind. This is just a simple tip. Even if I didn't bring it up, I'm sure you'd hear it from the others sooner or later. The idea is this. I recently opened up a training center with the goal of educating people in architecture design. Compared to the classes taught by those old fossils at the academia, my classes are more condensed and streamlined and will allow people to quickly get their foot in the door. Unlike the academia, I won't turn down anyone who's interested, rich or poor. As long as someone wishes to learn more about architecture, I'll accept them into my training center. It just so happens that I'm still looking for a few more instructors. So, what do you say? Interested in coming over to give a few lectures? Regardless of the pay, I can already guarantee that it'll be far more comfortable than working on random people's private commissions.
Ah, so you want me to join you as an instructor? That does sound like something I'd be able to do. Sounds like a pretty stable job, too. What do you think, Traveler?
Then it's a deal.
Yes, it's a deal. Thank you, Alkami.
Like I said, there's no need to thank me for this. The lecture room is not far from here, so you can just come straight here tomorrow morning. As for the pay, how about we start at 300,000 more per lecture?
300,000? Are you serious? How could you offer so much?
It would seem that you're still oblivious to your own economic worth. 300,000 is nothing compared to the prestige of having the Light of Kasharawar as one of my instructors. 300,000 is also just the base rate. Just trust me on this. The longer you stick with me, the more you'll come to understand your true value in the market. I have to go make some preparations now. See you tomorrow.
I was never particularly close with Alkami when we were in school. Who would have thought that he'd be so nice and friendly? I've hosted free lectures before, but this would be my first time being hired to lecture for a formal business. 300,000 Mora per lecture. Whew. I'm so excited that I'm starting to get nervous. Thanks so much. I think I will be able to relax a bit more with a friend in the audience. Now, what should I talk about tomorrow? Some lessons I've learned over the past few years? I should probably save those for later. For my first lecture, I should start by getting them more interested in the field. Alright, let's meet here again tomorrow morning. I should hurry home and create some kind of lesson plan. If I'm going to become an instructor, I should make sure I show up prepared.
My name's Jeff. Tomorrow. Okay.
Oh. I didn't expect you two to get here so early.
I was up last night preparing for the lecture, but I ended up getting so excited that I couldn't fall asleep. Here, I prepared a lesson plan. Do you want to take a look?
Lesson plan? Ah, I must commend you for your dedication. The training center has already developed its own set of teaching materials. Instead of using your own plan, you can just use what we have here. Of course, you're always welcome to work in some of your own content to add some fun and flavor. Sure, be my guest. It's almost time for the lecture to start. Feel free to head in and start the class whenever you're ready.
Huh. So you've already developed your own set of teaching materials. Seems like I won't need the stuff I've prepared after all. Anyway, shouldn't be a problem. I'll just go ahead and use your materials. There's something else I want to ask, though. This isn't going to be a large class, is it?
Ah, no need to stress. There are only 20 people in this class. There are 14 classes at my training center. Out of all of them, the first class has the best grades, so I've directed them to you. We'll see how well they take to your lectures.
20 people, huh? All right. I think I can handle that.
Oh, and one last thing. In the interest of keeping a quiet learning space, only instructors and students are allowed in the classroom when class is in session. I'm sorry to say this, but your friend will have to wait outside while you teach the class.
Sorry about that. I'll meet you at the door when the class is over then.
Did you hear? Alkami recruited Kaveh to be an instructor.
I bet that'll boost his enrollment numbers.
Really makes you jealous, eh? If you think about it, Alkami was never that talented himself as an architect. If we're just talking about professional skill, no one would pay for a class with him.
That's true, but you gotta admit, his advertisements are really effective. After all, the academia only admits those that can pass its entrance exam, so only a few people could hope to study architecture in the halls of the sharp one. For those who can't pass the exam, or who just want to jump straight into the industry, the training center is the best bang for the Mora.
Man, to have that kind of business acumen.
How come?
What?
There are dirt again?
No, it's not dirt. It's these things here. See? Okay.
Hey there. Can I help you? Oh, Alkami? You mean that rich guy who's been making quite the name for himself? Yeah, he commissioned a set of furniture from me a while back. Paid a great deal of Mora for it, too. I heard he earned a fortune working as a renowned architect. Now he's opened a training center so others can follow in his footsteps. If the tuition wasn't sky high, I'd enroll my child in a heartbeat. Architecture really sounds like a lucrative profession.
All right, everyone. There's no need to be nervous. Class is over, so we can just chat for a bit. I shouldn't have lost my temper during the lecture. Did I scare anybody?
No, you weren't scary at all, Mr. Kaveh. We were just a bit lost and didn't get what you were talking about.
Oh, don't get me started. I was trying to use Alkami's materials, so I flipped through some pages and gave them a closer look. The more I read, the more upset I became. Alkami may fool an amateur, but he can't fool anyone who's active in our profession. The materials he made are completely useless for teaching real architecture. In my opinion, the most important skill of an architect is their ability to craft a design. In other words, they must be able to conceptualize ideas. There are tens of thousands of buildings in the world, as well as a countless number of architectural styles. Some designs emphasize aesthetics, while others prioritize practicality. The architects who can critically evaluate the quality and fit of different designs are those who can come up with great designs of their own. But you won't get any of that from the teaching materials they're using here. All these students are doing in class is rote memorization of existing designs. They are learning nothing about the underlying principles. How can they expect to become real architects? When they're done with this class, all they'll become are dilettantes with a pitiful smatter.
But Mr. Cave, we didn't really understand anything you said after you threw away the materials either. What's the big deal anyway? It's not like we're looking to make some works of art. We just want to make some Mora.
You're studying architecture to make Mora?
Yeah. Why else would we be studying here? My biggest dream is to become someone like Mr. Alkami. Once I finally make my fortune in architecture, I'll be able to buy anything I like.
Huh. In that case, I'm afraid you'll probably be disappointed. The reality is that the work of an architect is very difficult. The pay is not lucrative at all. Believe me, I'm a perfect example.
But how? Mr. Alkami just told us last night that you made a killing by building the Palace of Alcazarzare. He also said that as long as we graduate from his class, waves upon waves of people will reach out to us with private commissions, and we can just sit back and wait for Mora to fill up our pockets. It won't be long before I can put these miserable days behind me.
Come on. And you all believed everything he said?
But Mr. Alkami is really rich, isn't he?
You... It's pointless trying to argue this with you right now. You've already filled your heads with pipe dreams. Let's go, Traveler. Let's hear about Alkami's true plans from the man himself.
Squall Fury.
What's wrong, Kave? You look quite flustered. Did one of my students offend you? Were the students not astute enough for your liking? I must implore you to go a bit easier on them. After all, they're nothing like the genius scholars you're used to dealing with at the academia. We don't need to strive for perfect understanding. As long as some knowledge has been passed on, that's good enough.
Yeah, I'm mad at them. But I'm even more upset that you're scamming people under the guise of teaching them about architecture. The students are all here hoping for a quick way to make money, but we both know that an architect's life is hard and exhausting. Just a little while ago, I was toiling over the 6th draft of a design for a client. If your client is unhappy, you can't break ground, and the longer a project goes, the longer it takes for you to get paid in full. What's worse, if your client disappears in the middle of a project, good luck getting anything from them ever again. You know all of this just as well as I do. Why lie to them?
Look, Kave, you may be the light of Ksharawar, but like I said, you still have a lot to learn about making Mora. You may deny it all you want, but it's a fact that in today's Sumeru, architecture is a terrible profession. Our clients care very little for the effort we pour into our designs. Instead of appreciating us, they spend all their time nitpicking details and demanding changes, often forcing all kinds of ridiculous ideas onto us.
I suppose that's more or less true. Go on.
Why should we cling on to a profession that's difficult and unrewarding? If the field is dying, then a person who still wants to make a good living will just have to change their strategy. If it's near impossible to make money as an architect, then why not just establish a training center and train other people to become architects in our stead?
Wait, how does that make any sense? Aren't you just leading them into the same trap?
We are already stuck, my friend. The more people we can lead into this pit and stack as padding beneath our feet, the more comfortable our lives will be. That's right. Making money as an architect is a slow and agonizing process. In comparison, earning tuition from a training center is far easier. None of the students will ever know, however. In their eyes, all of my income was earned during my years as an architect. It's easy for them to fall for my promise. After all, everyone wants to live the dream of being the person who can spend millions without batting an eye. The more students I get, the more money I earn. And the more real that dream becomes.
And then what? Once they graduate, they'll still find out the truth about architecture and struggle to stay afloat amid all the problems we already talked about. When that happens, your facade will pop like a soap bubble. No one will believe you anymore.
Ah, but that's just one way to look at the problem. No two people have the same amount of talent. Even if they fail to strike gold in the future, you can't say that it's my fault and mine alone. Oh, and also, I never actually promised that they would achieve financial freedom as long as they become architects. All I did was nudge them towards that belief. I'm not even scared if they do come back and stir up trouble. My training center has all the required permits and certifications. Even the Dendro Archon herself couldn't find fault in any part of my business.
How can you sleep at night knowing that you're doing all this? Tell me, is your heart carved out of brick and stone? I can't believe that I once saw you as a decent human being. I am beyond disappointed in you.
And the same goes to you. How many years has it been since you graduated from the academia? If you still can't accept something like this, do you just plan on keeping that worthless naivete of yours until the end of time? Only fools will see art as revered and sacred. In the end, art is just another business. Being successful at running a business is an art form in itself. I urge you to think about what I've said. Offloading your pain onto others is the only way a person can live comfortably in this world. As the light of the Ksharawar, you've accumulated plenty of fame and respect. It's high time that you use those resources to improve the circumstances of your own life. Think it over, Kave. I still believe our collaboration could be very fruitful.
I'm so mad, I feel a headache coming on. There's nothing more I can say to him. I'll resign from my position as instructor. Of course, I'm sure you've realized that as long as I remained at this center, he would be able to use my name to advertise this place. Even if I just sit back and do nothing, others will be deceived and suffer because of me. He is right about one thing, though. These kinds of training centers are everywhere. And even if the academia was to find out about it, it's unlikely that they would take any real action against it. The most that they could accuse him of is false advertising. And even that would be hard to prove. Oh? Did you notice something else? Yeah, you've got a point. The rate he gave me was 300,000 mora per lecture. That probably came out of the students' tuition. And who knows just how much he's been charging the students for attending his classes. If you're gambling everything on making it rich as an architect, are you really going to have the mora to pay for that kind of tuition? Right. We should hurry. The students didn't believe a word I was telling them. They're still daydreaming about making millions. We're never going to get any information from them again if we let Alkami talk to them first. Let's move now before he's had the chance to react.
Oh, Mr. Kave? What are you doing back here?
Class finished a while ago, but you're still here. Why haven't you gone home?
I wanted to stay for a little longer. I'm still thinking about everything you taught during the class. Even though a lot of it went right over my head, I still thought the houses you drew were really pretty.
Of course they were. All the examples I drew were world-famous landmarks. Each one was the magnum opus of a celebrated architect. It's a good thing that you could recognize them for their beauty. The accumulation of knowledge is the first step to artistic expression. Instead of rote memorization, you should try to relate and to understand. And after that, try to resonate with the work.
Resonate?
Yes. When I first got into architecture, there were many things about it that I couldn't understand at all. I would find a building to be beautiful, but have no idea what made it so good. And for most people, just being able to admire a building is enough. To become a good architect, however, you must also learn to assess and appraise. Going from admiration to assessment will take a lot of time and specialized knowledge, and I'm afraid that some superficial speed training won't be enough to take you there.
Just as I thought. Becoming an architect won't be as easy as Mr. Alkami made it out to be, right?
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to crush your dreams. All I want to tell you is that an architect's life is not as carefree and easy as others may make it out to be.
I understand. Thank you for telling me the truth, Mr. Kave. I think I'll still stay here for the time being, though, since my family still hasn't paid everything off.
Paid off what?
Sorry, I can't say anything